passion and purpose to assist young men, ages 15 to 24, to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. She wants to see every young man live out their potential. She has a master's degree in human services counseling, with a major in life coaching. More importantly, she is the mother of 3 boys, who are exceptional, educated, professional men. Coach Deborah believes it is better to train early, rather than need to fix later. She utilizes basic principles and God-led concepts. Sometimes the only thing a young man has is their credibility or their name. The actions they take are based on the decisions they make. Those decisions align with their choices and result in consequences. Coach Deborah can assist you if you are lost, floundering, or confused. Embrace the help and start building your best life today.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Build Your Best Life with Coach Deborah D. Smith. You could have been anywhere else, so we are excited that you decided to join myself along with my special guest today, Elder James Terrell. Hi, James. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Great. Well, this year is all about reaching out, because if we don't assist and reach out to young men, then we don't have a right to complain when we see things going on with them that don't look right. Mm-hmm. So we need everybody reaching out to assist. Yes. Now, this month, our theme is reaching for the right associates. So we know that our young people love to hang around with their friends. They get new friends, old friends, people they've known since they were in elementary school. But one thing they fail to understand or are not taught is that who you have in your circle is essential. Yeah. So James and I are going to be talking today about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Mm-hmm. And that is all about those type people that they are going to encounter, because, we have acquaintances, social friends, kind of good friends, and then the epitome of friends, our besties, our ride or dies, or whatever. But whatever reason we have people in our lives, we need to be intentional about our circle. So we're going to talk a little bit today and hope you can understand the importance of this. So I've known you, I'm telling my age now, but I tell my age anyway, since you were a little boy, and now here you are, a man with a family. I just love it. But tell us, everyone, a little bit about yourself and what you've been up to.
Yes. So I am a husband. I'm a father. My wife and I, Sierra, we have one son, James Jr., JT. I serve as the youth pastor at St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church. Been doing that now for about the last 2 years or so. And also for career-wise, I serve as a corrections sergeant with JSO.
All right. Awesome stuff. Now you say career-wise? Oh, career-wise. Okay, I got you. I got you. Thank you so much. Yes. And when I tell you, if you're ever out looking for a pastor to speak or whatever, he has a mighty word inside of him. So he is doing an excellent job. We're so proud of him.
Thank you.
All right. So, as a young pastor, and because of the individuals that you encounter through work, you see all types of people. Right. People that are good, bad, and have ugly personalities. Yeah. I think it is vital for young people to take the time to think about their circle of friends and their acquaintances. Yeah. Of course, we want the millennials and the Gen Z to enjoy life and to not have to be critical about, oh, you see, I got to analyze everything I do. We don't want it that rough, but, they can be in the wrong place doing risky things or be with bad people, and it can ruin them for lives. So It is essential.
Yeah.
So, James, due to social norms, people are quick to label someone. So, why is learning a person's inward characteristics essential before deciding who they are?
I think it's super essential because just because a person may display a certain thing doesn't necessarily mean that's who they are. And I think sometimes we can make mistakes, whether it be for the good or for the bad, of labeling someone by what they appear to be or what they give us. And we can kind of get ourselves in some trouble or, miss out on opportunities by being quick to label an individual. So I think it's important for you to get to know a person because while people may have one opinion of a person because they don't meet what society says is standard, doesn't necessarily mean that they're not good for you, for your life, or it doesn't necessarily mean they're bad for you or for your life. So I think you got to take the time to get to know individuals to see how that person uh, compares to you and how compatible you guys are. Because just because the person may display a certain thing or may appear a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that that's who they are inwardly.
Awesome. And again, a good evening to everyone who has tuned in. Thank you so much, Agnes, Deacon Holmes, Della. What's going on in Chicago? I am here with Elder James Terrell, and we're talking about the good, the bad, and ugly. And this is the inside that we're talking about of people that we encounter on a daily basis. So again, James, having watched you grow up, I think I know your personality, your characteristics, and in my opinion, you are a no nonsense person who strives to do well in all areas of your life.
Yeah.
You set goals, you work toward them, and you succeed. So, how did you interact with others and remain true to your own self worth and not allow others to influence you negatively as you were growing up?
Yes, ma'am. For me, I think the big thing was always number one, having an understanding and a confidence in who I was. Um, I knew my goals. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew who I was and what I would and would not do. So I didn't allow the pressure of other people to influence me because I was clear on what it is that I was called to do. And I think that was the biggest driving force for me. When you're clear on what you're supposed to do, who you are, other people can influence you. You may be tempted to be influenced by them because you may want this or you may want this look. But truth be told, I understood that I was not going to go after what other people have or what other people wanted me to do when they didn't have to live with the 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 uh the cause or the reaction of my decisions. They don't have to live with the choices that I make. I have to deal with it. And being clear on that shaped and helped guide me to make the good decisions.
That's good. Because there's only one person that we can all take control of and get them to do what we want to do, and that's ourselves.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. Awesome. God places people in our lives for some for a reason, some for a season, and then some for a lifetime.
Right.
However, it is still perplexing when you have been, had a friend and they were your ride or die, and they've always been with you, and then suddenly, something seems kind of funny. They begin to throw shade. You find out that they're stabbing you in your back. They just might end the relationship out of the blue and you have no idea why. What do you believe causes people to change out of nowhere and suddenly treat a friend like an enemy?
I think it's a number of things. I don't think it's one set thing. A number of things. It could be some type of disagreement. Could be them being influenced by the wrong individual. Could be some type of personal issue within that person, or it could be something that you did that you did wrong. Whatever the case may be. But whatever it is, you got just. I think it's important to evaluate each relationship like you said earlier. I think in relationships, all those things that you should be analyzing and being intentional about viewing. So when you do have those moments where a person switches up on you or a relationship goes sour, it's important to analyze it and see why. Because it could be something that you did, or it could be something that this person is going through, and maybe if that's a friend, analyze to see what it is, to see if something that you can help your friend with, or if it's a situation to where is God showing you that this relationship isn't for you, that this person isn't for you, instead of trying to force it, being intentional about seeing why this happened the way it happened, and then being okay with whatever comes of it and comes from it.
All very good, excuse me, points. And I like that you said, don't force it. I think that's what a lot of people do. And I know we're not talking about abuse or anything, but those type relationships, that's how it happens as well. People try to force themselves on people.
Right.
And for whatever people, reason, as you stated, sometimes they're just going through something themselves.
Yeah.
Something has changed in their lives, or it could be a lot of different reasons. Maybe they have new friends and they like different things, but you can't just force them. Well, that's my friend, and I'm just, you talk to them. You see, like, what's going on.
Right.
Haven't seen you in a while. I haven't talked to you. What's down. And if you talk to them and they like, oh, nothing's wrong, just doing some different things, then you don't just keep pushing the needle, as they say.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And one thing also I discovered, just for myself as I'm getting older and growing and evolving, that people change and people evolve. And it doesn't necessarily mean that something has to be wrong. Maybe your season is just up with that individual. Maybe where you are in life, where you're headed in life, where that person is, y'all just don't meet anymore. And that's okay. And we got to be okay with that, and not look at it as a loss. Just look at it as we've evolved, we've changed, and this relationship no longer is beneficial for us and for our friendship and relationship and purpose ultimately.
Right. Because as you stated, as we get older, we should change, mature, our minds develop, especially in the age group that I really target, teenagers and young adults. Those minds are still changing.
Right.
As I found out last week, as I was researching, that those teens, they said that the information based on their frontal lobe is just maturing and changing. So that's why they are easily influenced. So
Right.
that's the time when your friends may really, really change. And it's like, what is that? Because sometimes you have friends that are younger, some that are older. People mature at different ages. So
Yeah.
it just depends. Okay, to maintain your dignity, your self-respect, I believe that it's crucial to meet people where they are and follow the golden rule when dealing with others. You say people change. So, you may have had the same likes and goals at a certain age, but then you change.
Right.
You might start thinking one way, or they're thinking some other way.
Right.
So it's different. But if you follow that golden rule, I'm going to treat you like I want to be treated.
Right.
So you're not trying to mold people, manipulate them. You're just trying to be respectful of them, and you want them to be respectful of you.
Yeah.
And you may find that, hey, you know what? That they moved to a different state. Then they had to move back. He's not living with his parents anymore. Maybe he's just changed. So is it me? Do I need to do a self-checkup?
Right.
Because we can't always say it's the other person.
Yeah.
So, it's always time in your life that you have to say, hey, wait a minute. I think I'm all of that. But when I really look in the mirror.
Right. Because sometimes it's us. Sometimes it is us, right? Sometimes it's us. And we got to be careful not to always try to play the victim role. right?
Yeah.
That,
Yep.
that people are always hurting us. Sometimes we aren't the best friend, right? Sometimes we aren't the best person. Sometimes we don't respond or react the best way. And sometimes we're the one changing up for the negative because of maybe certain issues we may be dealing with, things we maybe have going on in our lives. And I think you have to make constant evaluations, not just of your friendship, but of yourself. I got to evaluate myself and think about, okay, let me look at the type of person friend I'm being, the type of husband I'm being, the son, the grandson I'm being, and is there something I can do better so that I can help my relationships? Because if not, we'll always live life pointing the finger at other people. We'll point the finger at other people, never fixing or causing with ourselves, fixing the issue within ourselves, and then never really fixing our relationships.
Yes.
Everybody just we'll be picking off friends, and people are like, "Yeah, God just taking friends." No, you're taking friends away. You're losing people
Right.
because you're not facing within yourself the issues that you have. So
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, I was listening to someone and I began to think about it. It's probably been over the course of a year, but it's always been, woe is me. This person don't talk to me. This person did that. That person did that. None of
yeah,
my family members. And I'm like, wait a minute.
everybody.
There's one common denominator in there now. Yeah. So it is, just great to sit and evaluate yourself, and like I say, you change and a lot of times you think you're doing something one way and you're totally doing something a different way. You think maybe
Right.
you're being respectful to someone or you're using a particular word that somebody really doesn't like. Remember the movie The Blind Side, and
Yeah.
everybody called him Big Mike, and then
Yeah.
we come to find out he didn't like that name.
He didn't like it. Yeah.
Like, don't call me Big Mike. Like, oh, okay, but that's what everybody called him, and so she heard Miss Toot, what's his name? Miss Tootie.
Yeah.
She heard everybody calling him that, so she did it too. But he had enough courage with her to
Tell
say,
her.
I don't like that.
Oh, Big Mike.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
So we have to take that time to sit down and think, hey, let me check myself out.
Right. And also kind of just to add on that, I think it's also important to have people in your life who you trust to tell you the truth.
Oh, yes.
Right. Tell you the truth. Because you made a statement there. You said sometimes you can think you're doing the right thing. And sometimes it's not until someone else who you love and trust can tell you, hey man, you ain't doing that right. Because sometimes when you're caught up, it's hard to see your flaws when you're caught up in life. It's hard to see what you're doing wrong when you're in the midst of it. Sometimes you got to take a step back to really look at it to see, hey, I'm not doing that the best way, not handling that the best way. But I think it begins with having people in your life who you trust who tell you, hey, hey, I want you to take a look at this because you're not really doing that, handling that the best way. You're not handling your relationships the best way. And I think that's important too, to have people you trust to tell you the truth and be okay with it and not use it as a time to fight or to argue or be offended when people do try to say the truth about yourself.
Yep. Good evening, Deacon Dan. Yeah, because people always tend to say, "Well, that's just how I am,"
Right.
and I probably still do it to an extent, but I think I'm much better than I used to be. But when I be talking with someone, I would get really excited, especially if I got opposing views, and then my voice is squeaky anyway, and then it goes up an octave. And nobody ever said anything. Now, you probably said something behind my back, like, who's she yelling at? But to me, I wasn't yelling. I'm just, I don't know what you want to call it. But this guy was training me once on the computer, and he's like, hey, hold on, wait a minute. And I'm like, boy, you talking about you ain't gonna yell at me? Like, oh, okay. No, but nobody else had called me on that before.
Yeah. Yeah. That's real.
It's good. Yeah. Awesome. Hello, Elder Levette. How you doing?
Hey, sir.
All right. So why is it a good idea to to do that self checkup to determine if your characteristics, your ethics, and your self worth are where they should be in order for you to be a good friend?
Um, I think it's important because we should always be evaluating ourselves to see if we are, I mean, just being the best individuals, period. Um, being the best friends that we can be. I think it's important just to always make sure that we are always constantly evaluating ourselves. Because, like we said, you can be thinking you're doing one thing, you can be thinking you're being a certain type of friend, but truth is you're not. And so you got to have those honest spaces and moments to evaluate yourself to see how you can become better. I think we should always be constantly becoming better and evolving in our lives. And the way you do that is by constantly evaluating yourself and looking at ways you can do things better. If not, you're not going to get better. You're only going to stay stuck, and it's going to affect your relationships and your opportunities that you have.
I like 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 that. Try to do things better.
Yeah,
Even if you are doing a good job or whatever you're doing, you can always improve.
yeah,
So that constant working on yourself, doing better. Like you said, I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good grandson. I want to be a good husband. You got to want to do that and work towards it. You can't get complacent. Like,
yeah.
oh yeah, I know Sierra loves me, so I can just be lax. No, you can't.
Right. You got to do better every day. Every day you got to find a way to improve because there's always something we can improve on. None of us are perfect. I
Right.
don't care how good you think you are at what you do. You're not perfect, and there's something you can do better. Something you can work on. Something, you know. So whatever that something is, every day I need to do something better. Be intentional about it, and I think it's tough because sometimes it's tough having to face the parts of us that we think we do well and realize that hey, maybe we're not doing so well. But I think it's important to face those and to be okay with it. Um, to get better. So
Yeah, it takes work. It's not just one part of your life that you have to work on. You got to work on your finances, your skills, your emotions, your self-worth, loving yourself,
yeah,
and being a friend. I got this new thing now. Friendship is not a one-way street. It goes both ways. You don't just get in a relationship for what somebody can do for you.
yeah.
What can you do for them? It should be
Right.
mutual. You
Yes.
know, if you just running with someone and you can learn something from them, they can't learn anything from you. Not one thing, really.
And then they need to cut that friendship off.
Right.
you know, because like we should be helping each other. We should be helping each other. Like I love that quote. Friendship isn't a one-way street. It should be benefit for us both. We both should get something from it. It may not be the same thing. What I get from you may not be what you get from me, but I should be able to offer something to this relationship. I
Yes.
should be able to offer something to your life, somehow make it better. Not just be a person who's pulling from you and never offer anything for you to pull from. So
Right. That's exactly right. Let's see. Hi, Tony and Peggy and Sierra. Thank you all for tuning in. We are almost at the end, but it has been a great conversation. So if you joined us late, you have to look at the rewind, go back. It still will be on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook to catch all of this because we are talking about people and how they can be good, how they can be bad, and how they can be ugly.
yeah,
And we are not talking about the outside. We are talking about the inside, like God wants us to do the inside of people. People can be beautiful, handsome on the outside, but when they open their mouth and they begin to act, they can turn you completely off.
just be ugly.
It's too ugly. What was the problem? You know, you ever been with someone and they start doing something and it's like, oh my goodness,
Then
why
you're
am
like,
I in here with them?
"Ooh." Well, I don't like them.
Ooh, is that how they act? Ooh, I didn't know that. Ooh, yes.
So true.
Yeah, and, sometimes we do things, and I don't know, you think it makes you look important, like you're in a restaurant and something's not right, and then you just start going at this person. That person
Yeah,
didn't fix your food.
at all.
They just brought it to your table.
Right.
And it's a way to say it. And if you take that time to say something the right way,
Yeah.
then the manager might come over there and you might not, and they might do you the right way, and it might
Yeah.
come be to your benefit. But when you act ugly, whatever, they're like, let me hurry get these people out of here.
Yeah. And I think that's an important point, because you can't control, just a general point. You can't control what no one else does, but one thing you can control is how you react to it and how you respond to it.
That's
And
right.
of course that reaction, is a little different than the response. But react is like almost at that instant, but the response, how you respond to it, and that's one thing you can control. I can't control what you do to me. I can't control how you treat me, but I can control how I respond to it. And at the end of the day, if I choose to respond in the best way, even when you do me wrong, um, God can still be pleased with how I act, and also my family can still be pleased. I can still protect my family name. I can still protect my reputation, by choosing to respond in a certain way.
That's right.
So we got to be intentional about that, man. People will do whatever, but one thing you can control is how you respond,
How you
um,
respond.
and that's how you have to live your life. By controlling your response and being intentional about how you, and what you do when people mistreat you, and
Right.
mishandle you.
Yeah, and you said, your name and, people that's associated with you. Let's just say, little JT, he's a little older and he's on a T-ball team or something, and you go up there and you get in argument with the coach, and you just going off with the coach, and somebody gonna say, oh, look at Miss Curly grandson.
Right.
Somebody else like, that's it. Oh, that's Sierra husband over there. Look at
Yeah.
him. Then
Yeah.
one St. Paul member's like, they ain't the one that was up there Sunday. Is it? Who is that?
Yeah.
So that you all, it's not only you, but it's people that are in your lives and you are impacting them.
Yeah.
And life does not come with a big eraser, so you can't erase that moment and like,
Yeah.
man, I wish I hadn't done that.
Right.
It's over.
Yep. Your your actions don't just affect you. It affects everything and everyone connected to you. And I think sometimes we can make selfish decisions to act and react a certain way, no matter how small or big it may be. And you made a statement, people at that game, Sierra, people at that game watching you, and I'm arguing with the coach, and I don't even know such and such in the stands, and so I'm arguing with him. They're having a certain perception of me. I don't even know they're in the stands, and they know my wife, they know my church, they know such whoever I'm connected to, and so we can be out. It's important. It's always important to always be a good person, no matter where you are, because you never know who knows you. You never know who's watching, and you never know who is being influenced based on your actions, whether you know it or realize it or not.
All right. Exactly. Hello, Gucci boy. How you doing? Oh yeah. It's just like I remember. I don't even know if Winn Dixie has a bakery anymore, but when they had a bakery, I had ordered. I was going out of town. And I had ordered someone a birthday cake. Well, when I went to pick it up, I don't remember if they had messed up the name or the color, or it was something that was wrong. And I could have just went off and all that, but I just said, explain the situation or whatever very calmly. And they, oh, well, they give us a minute, we have another cake. And they fixed it and handed it to me. And they say, okay, have a great day. It's on us.
Nice.
Like, okay, thank you. But if I had been up there acting like I didn't have good sense, they were like, we sorry,
Right.
bye, go on. Or if they did fix it, then I would have had to pay for it. They
Right.
might apologize, but because I, was respectful of whoever made a mistake, because if, everybody makes mistakes. I
Right.
make mistakes.
Exactly.
So it's not that they did it on purpose.
Right.
That's how we treat people.
Yeah. So true. Great
Yeah.
point.
Yes, this is great conversation. You got to come back,
Yes.
James. All right. So, you give us your closing thoughts on the importance of being true to your ethics and characteristics, and distancing yourself from someone in your circle when you learn that their ways are bad and ugly as you strive to build your best life.
Yes, ma'am. So my closing thoughts on that is, I think, like I stated in the beginning, it's super important to be clear on who you are, clear on your purpose, clear on your future, and clear on what you want to do. And I think as you are clear on those things, that'll help guide you in making those good decisions, and having those good relationships. And I think, kind of as we said earlier, always be in this place where you're evaluating yourself, but also always be in a place where you're evaluating those who you're connected to. Because believe it or not, who you're connected to does influence you, does impact your life, and whether you think you're being influenced or not, you're somehow being influenced by those negative relationships. So always be wise, be intentional about who you're connected to, who you're talking to, the conversations you're having, because that stuff does make a difference. And be okay when you see a negative relationship. Be okay having to let it go. I think sometimes we can allow loyalty to keep us in negative situations far longer than we have to. And loyalty isn't a good reason to hang on to negative relationships. That's actually a poor excuse that many people use and find themselves in tough places in lives that could have been avoided. So be intentional and be okay with relationships that have to go, and let God guide you. And trust me, He'll send you something, a new relationship. He'll send you a new friendship. He'll send you new opportunities. Just because we think a person may be good for us doesn't necessarily mean they are. And just because we think a person may have a benefit for us doesn't necessarily mean that they do. God is the one who gives all opportunities, and so we got to trust in that and be okay with what God is doing, and understand that God controls everything, not people. So that's my closing thought.
That's right. It's awesome. And you're so right. God is in control. And again, He puts people in our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And if it's just for a reason or a season, we need to take what we learned during that time. And when it's time for it to be over, it's just over, and it's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's okay.
Yeah. It's just like He sent those. Like you said, He'll send some more.
Yep, exactly.
Yes. So this has been awesome, awesome, awesome. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So remember, always evaluate yourself. But again, you do need friends, because it is found that people that have friends and people close around that truly care about them have a better chance of not being depressed and suffering from anxiety and mental health issues. However, you still have to be very vigilant about who you have in your circle.
Yeah.
And like I told them last week, you got that eagle, and that eagle is going places, and he's up there soaring, and that crow grabs a hold of that eagle, and the eagle like, hey, he just keeps soaring, because guess what? That crow cannot breathe at the altitude that eagle can, so he gonna fall off. But the eagle's
really
gonna keep
good.
going. So you gotta let them fall off, and you gotta keep going.
That's really good. I love that. That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you again so much for being on. I know that you are busy, 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 so I greatly appreciate it.
Yes, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, but I will have you on again.
Okay.
So everyone, please make sure that you join us Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For our topic is going to be who. Does it sound familiar? Who? It sounds like an owl. So tune in, check us out. Make sure that you visit my website, which is www.buildyourbestlife.org. On there, I release a new blog each Monday, so you can check out my blogs. The calendar of events, go out there, check those out. We have 4 major events every year. Those are already out there. So please go out there and check my May, June, August, and November calendars to get those dates. So you can mark your calendars because you don't want to miss out. But that first one is our Mother's Day, Mothers and Sons seminar. I cannot wait for that. So please tune in for that. And that's going to be beginning May the 8th. Running through the 11th, but check out the calendar. And also you can look at the services that I offer, which is speaking, webinar speaking, coaching, and consultation. So I am here to assist and help our young men. But if you don't step up, and when I reach out my hand, if you don't step up and say, hey, yes, I need the help, I can't help you. And also we have my book out there, Build Your Best Life. So you can order your autographed copy of that book from my website. And if you like the Kindle version, visit Amazon.com. But again, thank you all so very much for tuning in. And we will be back here Thursday. So I hope that some of you can join us, because I appreciate everything that you do, because you could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join us. Now, as you go along your busy day, you may encounter a young man who has lost his way. Don't shake your head. Don't steady your pace. Stop. Reach out and give that young man a helping hand. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan, it's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Good night.